So remember, you don't find yourself. You build yourself by figuring out what your values are, by setting them in concrete, and then you build your behaviors that reinforce those values or support those values and help you hold those convictions in place. Welcome to The Bear Perspective. I'm Bear Malik. I'm a student of life and I study psychology. I want to share with you some lessons and perspectives that I wish I could have learned a lot sooner in life. You don't find yourself, you build yourself. I say that because I heard someone say a mate of mine looked sad because he spent time in the woods hiking, trying to find himself. Now, this was how my mate's friends approached him, trying to initiate an intervention. There's a lot for me to say in that, but let me go into it a little bit first. My immediate response was, you're not lost. What you're doing when you go out for your hikes is you're feeding your soul. I'm going to call my mate Bob, okay? I've known Bob a long time. I look up to Bob. And Bob's struggled through early life. He's battled a lot of demons. He's struggled with family, friends, relationships, and the sort. However, he had a very clear goal in mind, which, in my opinion, he's executed so well that he is now living his perfect life. He's built a life that lets him lace up his boots and head for the hills whenever he wants. Most weekends. He's fought his demons and won. And the purse that he wanted from that fight: peace, freedom, family, and so on. Now, some friends, good-meaning friends, well-meaning friends, want an intervention. Not because Bob is broken. In my opinion, it's because they're bored. They're comfortable. And they're standing still. Do you believe who you are is hidden somewhere, waiting to be discovered? Or are you willing to choose who you become and build it? If your identity is predetermined, you must search for it. Now, if your identity is chosen, you must construct it. So people don't find themselves. They decide who they want to be. They do the work to become the very thing that they want to become. The projection test. People in an active battle rarely run interventions on unrelated lives. They're too busy fighting their own dragons. They're too busy fighting their own demons. They're too busy preparing for their own fights. Preparing for the hurdles that they need to jump day to day. The complacent, they're different. They have a roof over their head. They have a fridge full of food. They have a loving and caring partner who supports them and helps them day to day. There's no mountain left for them to climb. So they end up inventing one. They go looking for a project called Fix Bob, because I saw a few Facebook posts. They don't need to project. They need a purpose. So how do you do that? Starts with introspection. I would say first thing you need to do is find your values, or name your values rather. Not your vibes, not your feelings. Name your genuine values inside you. What is it that you're going to protect at all costs? And these are deeply personal to everyone. So I'm not even going to give you examples on that one. Just find something that you value or hold conviction for. Now you can go out looking for the attributes in people that match or help you hold up those values. The strength, honesty, curiosity, compassion, maybe even discipline. If those are what mean something to you. So then write your blueprint using that. Translate those values into a visible behavior and a practice that you can adhere to. Not to be disciplined, but I'm going to be training on a Monday, on a Wednesday, on a Friday at 7 a.m. Not to be present in the moment, but I'm not going to have my phone out during dinner with the family. That's the difference when you've applied those attributes and principles to your own values. Just saying to be disciplined or to be present isn't enough. You need to spell it out to yourself. And then feed your soul. Identify what nourishes you and put it in place. Make it as important as paying rent. The thing that's going to help you achieve your goal. Or is your goal to be more healthy? So you want to be more active. You want to go on more hikes, for example. Do you want to maintain your intelligence within your workplace? I'm going to spend more time reading, but not just any type of reading. I'm going to read the relevant stuff that keeps me relevant at work. Do you live in a very chaotic and loud environment? Perhaps you value silence, a time for just meditation and just calming your mind once a week, once a day, once every few hours. Do you want to feel the best, and does that mean the clothes that you wear need to be ironed? It can be something as little as that. And then choose what you would consider to be your higher calling. Make it bigger than you. Make it something that feels almost impossible to reach. Aim for stars. You'll at least reach the moon, and you'll still be higher than everyone else around you. Your altitude changes your perspective. So your goal, your higher calling, your mountain to climb, your Rocky that you want to fight, they're all going to change the closer you get to your goal. So then break it down. From that higher calling, from that journey to the stars, from sea level to the tip of the mountain. Break it down into your milestones and your steps. And from milestones into an action that you can perform and take once a week, once a day, once a month maybe. And from weekly actions to today's non-negotiable actions and to-do lists. And protect what you've built. Set your boundaries. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you feed yourself. Make sure you train, whether it's your mind, your body, your soul. Make sure you speak to mentors. Make sure you speak to the people around you that will help lift you up higher. And cut anything that corrodes. Remove any cancers from within your life. And cancers have a funny way of returning. So if something drains your energy from you, interact with it less. Going back to the tale of two wolves, you have two wolves within you. You have one filled with hate, with greed, with jealousy, with all the bad things. And you have one filled with love, caring, healing, peace, all the good things in life. And those two wolves are constantly warring, and the one that wins is the one you feed. So stop feeding what corrodes. Stop feeding what drains energy from you. And take a step forward toward your goal. Give yourself purpose. Find your purpose by first assessing your values. Create your purpose. Now let me give you an example. You guys remember the movie Rocky? Let's assume your higher calling, your goal, your big battle in life is for you to take a selfie at the top of the steps in Philadelphia next to the Rocky statue. That's your big goal in life. And remember, you're going to have to adapt, and you're going to have to reframe or reassess your journey at every step of the way. So first you go to the city. You know you need to go to Philadelphia. First you go to the city, and then once you're there, you need to figure out, where is the museum? Then you head towards the museum. You arrive, but guess what? The stairs that you saw in the movie that lead up to the statue is under construction. There's men in high vis and everything's cordoned off, and you can't go up those stairs, and you're so close to your goal. But this is where you improvise and adapt. You're close to your goal. You're not going to give up and turn around and go home. You're going to take the side stairs. So the journey up those stairs didn't look the way you envisioned, but take the side stairs, go up the stairs, stand next to the statue and take the selfie. You can't run everything like the film. You can't run everything like that perfect plan that you made in your head, because guess what? Life is unfair and life will get in the way. So you don't pout. You don't give up, become complacent, and then look for Bob to fix. You find another solution or another path less trodden to get to your goal. And here's the thing. Those people out there that walk those untrodden paths and succeed, especially, those people aren't just walking a path untrodden for no reason, because nobody's trodden there. They have a purpose. They are walking the path less traveled because there's a bigger hurdle in their way. If they had the option, they would go the normal way to their destination. But from the outside, peering in, we see someone stomping through tall grass that nobody else has stepped through. And we presume this person is insane. This person doesn't know what they're doing, and this person seems lost. Like Bob. But no. They've rerouted themselves. They've found a hurdle And instead of giving up and walking away, they've decided to walk the path less traveled to get to their destination. So you take the service steps on the side of the museum to get up to the top, and then walk up to the statue, and you climb up and you take that picture. You reach the statue, you reach your goal. You've planned, you've seen the obstruction, you've adapted, you've overcome, and you've succeeded. Your path isn't ever going to go as planned. And people who build themselves don't whine, they just crack on with it. There's a million people out there who will whine. There will be the naysayers. But they don't know the path you've chosen to take. They don't know the hurdles that you have to overcome. And for the other successful people in the world, they ignore those voices because they have their plan. Compared to the other people out there who don't have a plan, who have become complacent, who are just sitting at home looking for another challenge. So they peruse Facebook and find a friend that they occasionally speak to and make assumptions about their life. Now, there's nothing wrong with being complacent. That, for some people, that alone could be the goal, to go from strife to having a life where you have no worries. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're trying to overcome your boredom by causing interventions into other people's lives, take a deeper look within yourselves. So how do you start building this week? Take about half an hour. Audit your own values. List 5 of the deepest values that are uncompromising for you. For each, write down a behavior that proves the uncompromising nature of that value for you today. Then the next thing you do is write the attributes that you admire in real people that you know, have seen, have observed, have studied, and adopt one of those behaviors from each of those people for the next day, for the next 2 days, for the next week. And then test your higher calling. Finish the sentence. If I dedicated 5 years to X, my life would be meaningfully better because whatever. This is your proverbial mountain. This is your fight at the end of the movie for the winning purse. This is the dragon that you need to slay to get to the treasure. Next, pick 2 completely non-negotiable things. Pick 2 tiny actions that you'll do daily for a month. Make them small. Make them embarrassingly small. 5 press-ups. 10 minutes of reading. 1 pull-up. A 10-minute walk. Hell, a 5-minute walk. And commit to it for 30 days. Now the boundary. The one thing you're going to say no to this week that protects your values and helps you build yourself into the person that's going to achieve that goal that you've set out for yourself. Write out the exact sentence you'll use. You have friends who want you to come out on a Friday night, but you've set your sights on the fact that You want to be a homeowner and you want to be able to buy a house by the end of the year, the end of the next 5 years. What's your sentence? It'll be, sorry, I can't come out tonight. I'm trying to save up for a house. Your goal of saving up for a house stands well above the goal of others who want to take you out and have fun and get drunk and whatever. I'm not saying you can't do those things. That's an example. Use whatever is relevant to you in your life to set your goal, and then use your goal to set your own boundaries. Now, if something is going to get in the way, if something is going to hinder, if something's going to take away from your success to reach your goal, that's where you need to put that boundary in place within reason. It doesn't mean you can't have a day of rest. It doesn't mean you can't have a day with friends. It doesn't mean you can't spend time with family. Because all those things are things that you value. And if those are the things that you value, you prioritize them. But if they're not things that you value, then you don't prioritize them. That's the point I'm trying to make. If you value spending time with family, you're going to say no to something that takes you away from spending time with family. If you value time with your family on a Sunday for Sunday lunch, you will say no to work so that you can spend time with the family. And remember, tomorrow never comes. So if you end up sacrificing your time with the family to spend more time at work so that you can spend time with the family, just think about it for a minute. You are working backwards. You're working against the grain on your own goal. There was a story I heard years ago. I think this was on YouTube or something, about a rich businessman going out to this island. He sees this fisherman who's laying in his hammock, enjoying a beer. He's got his family around him. The kids are playing in the sand. He's got a beautiful wife, got a nice home behind him. And he owns one fishing boat that he goes out fishing once every couple of days, sells a few of the fish, the rest of them feed his family. So the businessman asks the fisherman, why don't you go out fishing every day? And the fisherman asks, why would I want to do that? He goes, well, then you can sell more fish. The fisherman asks, why do I want to do that? He goes, so you can build your business. Okay, why do I want to do that? Well, then you can buy more fish, more boats to fish with. You can hire more people to fish for you and sell more fish. Okay, and why do I want to do that? Then you'll have an empire. And why would I want to do that? Because when you have an empire, you can one day retire. Because why would I want to do that? Because then you can retire on some island where you're sitting in a hammock, drinking beer with your family around you without a care in the world. So stop prioritizing work over family, because sometimes you actually have exactly what you want, but fail to see it because you're too busy running the rat race. So when you do sit and assess your goals and assess your big mountain that you want to climb, it needs to sit with your values. If that's what you value, you may already have it. You just need to reprioritize where you invest your time and energy. Whereas if you're nowhere near your goal, but now you have a blueprint to go by, you have a step-by-step guide that you have written for yourself based on your own values, based on your observations, based on what you know in that moment. So, when do friends intervene? And don't get me wrong, there are times to intervene for addiction, for risk, for harm, for neglect. Most of all, you intervene when you feel responsible for someone. If it's your child, if it's your sibling, if it's your partner, your parent. Concern is love. But control is boredom dressed as charity. So if someone attempts to rescue you, ask them, is there any imminent risk to someone? To you, to others, to your family, to your pet, to your plants? Then ask them, are they responsible for you? For your welfare? For the outcome of your decisions? Or will the outcome of your decisions impact them in any way? Negatively, of course. And finally, have you asked them for help? Was there a time, maybe a few years ago, you said to this friend of yours, hey, if you see me behaving like this, if you see me doing this, or if you think that I'm struggling with money and I'm not talking about it, then I need you to help me. I need you to intervene. So if there isn't an imminent risk, if there isn't responsibility in place from your rescuer, and if you haven't asked your rescuer for help, they need to go find their own mountain to climb. They don't need to fix you. Now, if you're Bob, in this kind of situation where you have got your life together, you have everything that you feel you need to live your life the way you want to live it, how do you respond to friends who want to rescue you, who want to come fix you, who want to intervene? Or you thank them for their concern. Thank you for caring enough to talk to me. But just to assure you, I'm not lost. I'm building, or I've worked hard to get to where I am today. And if you want to help, walk with me. Come out for a hike with me. Let me show you what I do when I'm out there. Get your boots. We'll go to the forest. Turn off our phones, and let me show you what it is that I enjoy about what I do. Now, a friend, a supportive friend, could take you up on that offer. But a friend who is just looking to keep themselves busy by taking on a project called Bob would say, I'm not so sure I've got time for a hike, or I don't think I can get this time off. And okay, well, in that case, who's got their life together? The one who can get up and go for a hike whenever they want, or the one who struggles to make those kind of decisions for one reason or another? So remember, you don't find yourself. You build yourself by figuring out what your values are, by setting them in concrete, and then you build your behaviors that reinforce those values or support those values and help you hold those convictions in place. And that identity is what's going to last. And your journey is going to change your perspective. So keep climbing, but remember to reassess your goal from your current perspective. Improvise, adapt, and overcome.